Welcome to the Board of Public Works meeting. It's Monday, November 10th, 6 o'clock from the DPW Media Room, and we're being recorded by Marshfield Community TV. So we have action items of the board to appoint Ken Ryan as superintendent, the Plymouth Ave Pump Station 2024-01 change orders, the 2026-30 construction equipment rental and labor, and then a driveway permit for 247 Winslow Road. And for discussion, we have trash barrel charges, right? And then wastewater master plan, forensic audit update, tie and bond update, discussion of indirect charges. We're gonna vote to accept the minutes for 10/20/2025. Have a superintendent's report, and then the next meeting is gonna be December 1st as of right now. So,
I'll second that.
okay, aye,
Aye.
thank you. So I was going to move up the wastewater master plan ahead of everything else because Attorney Galvin's here for that. So, are you guys okay with that?
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
All right, so we're gonna just move that discussion item up to the top of the list.
Okay. Yeah, I printed out just a summary page of what we got from from our consultant, and just a couple notes that I added based on the discussion that we had a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We had, a couple weeks ago, at the board, or you had discussion
no.
somewhere else?
That was a separate meeting, yes.
You had a separate meeting, we
Yes.
didn't have a discussion.
Yeah.
You had a meeting somewhere else, you didn't have a discussion with us.
Yes,
They
Okay.
had a discussion with me and, yeah.
Okay, we haven't had a discussion at all
yes,
with the board. I'm
yes.
just going to make that clear.
Just making sure you didn't
I
forget.
No, it's like, I just have to think to myself, my mind is pretty good.
Don't you remember?
So I don't, we had a discussion, as you walked by, and come back.
Yeah.
I'm making a point of that because
Yeah.
you're assuming that I was at that meeting, I was not.
No.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
No,
Okay, so this is the first I've heard of it, so start at that I have not seen anything, nor has John
Yes.
seen
yeah.
it.
So we had a South River area study, sewer expansion study done. It expanded on one that we had already done for a couple different areas, the Black Mount area and Kent Park areas for adding sewer. And when we, in our discussions with Diane, we're trying to figure out what the flows, the average flows were and how much the treatment facility can handle. And there was actually a table in the report that did a good job of kind of summarizing where we're at and where we might be when we do these expansions. So the couple notes that I wrote on this page here is that the current maximum permitted flow at the treatment facility is 2.1 million gallons per day on average. A typical practice is that once you reach the 80% capacity, you should consider expanding the plant. So 80% capacity of the 2.1 million gallons per day is 1.68 million gallons per day. Now, if you take the averages that were found in the study, down in the bottom left, I kind of summarized it. 1.68 is when we should consider expansion. Our current average flow right now is 1.357 million gallons per day. In this table, the consultant calculated Black Mount to be 0.131 million gallons per day added to the system. Kent Park, 0.029 million gallons per day added to the system. And then we currently have an agreement with Duxbury that for 0.15 million gallons per day. Currently they only use 0.04, which is included in that current average flow. that goes to the plant, because that's already going to the plant, so that was included. So they have an additional 0.11 million gallons per day that they are entitled to. So I included that in our available capacity. So if we expand Blackmount and we expand Kent Park, then we have 0.053 or 53,000 gallons per day of capacity before we should think about expanding the plant.
Are you looking for questions? I have a lot of them.
Yeah, would you have more to explain first?
I think that was kind of the direction we wanted to try and evaluate how much capacity we were going to have before we kind of thought about plant expansion. So, I mean, those are basically after those two, we're going to have to think about expanding the plant, and that doesn't even include that South River area study that was included in this assessment. And I think it's only a matter of time until something's gonna come down the pipeline where they're gonna be looking at, areas along the coast. They're already doing it down the Cape, and it's only a matter of time before they make their way up the coast and start kind of getting people to get sewer in these areas. We have these areas were picked because we have TMDLs and for bacteria in the Green Harbor River, the North River, and the South River.
All right, so someone lives in a home, they don't know what TMDL
That's
is.
my question too.
Total maximum daily loading. So the state does a study to look at certain types of contamination, and they did a study. They do studies on all the waters of the United States, basically, and they did it for those three rivers that I just stated, and they had elevated levels of fecal coliform, which can be from septic systems and wastewater, and that's actually the only contaminant that was found in these studies on those rivers. So those are ones.
Runoff too.
Yes, it can come from.
It can be also, I mean, don't focus just on. It's not just fecal from existing on-site septic systems, but there is runoff from streets where there are dogs and other animals that are there. So it's like.
I have a question about that, actually.
Farms and people walking their dogs and leaving their dog bags on the side of the road. I mean,
no bags, just
or no bag. I think it's worse if they put them in bags and then leave them.
I have a question along those lines. Is there any kind of like a average that shows how much a percentage of that runoff is conceivably from septic and how much is from, or that contaminant is from runoff and how much is from septic? Do they have any kind of a guess on that? Or
no, I don't think. I think the levels are what the levels are. They don't care where it comes from.
Yeah, so they've never kind of studied that.
Yeah,
right?
they say that the level is above where it should be, then it's kind of up to the town to do some investigating
And figure it out.
and figure out where it's coming from.
Right.
It could be from a failed septic. It could just be stormwater runoff, but it's kind of up to us to figure out where it's coming from.
And you mentioned something about the Cape, so can you explain for people to know what your concern is with that?
Yeah, so down the Cape there is no treatment facilities down there, if I'm correct, Ken.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no treatment facilities down there, so it's all septic down there, and it's contaminating the groundwater, and everyone's on wells down there. We have wells in our town too, and it's contaminating their water where they need to put sewer in. So they've kind of been cracking down the Cape. I know we just talked with someone, the town that is paying $120 million or something like that.
Mashpee?
Yeah, I think Mashpee is one of them. To put sewer in the town because it's contaminating their drinking water.
And so that's this, I mean, not that they wouldn't wanna have their water clean, but the state is pushing that.
Yes.
Their state is like, you have to do this.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
they're doing it all over the Cape, and we're a half an hour from the Cape, so.
So you feel like that's coming.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why the.
I'm tired of the
Cape-
state telling us what to do.
Yeah, well, the Cape is a sole source aquifer.
I got something to say.
Oh,
Okay, you want, go ahead,
Do you-
go ahead, John,
I
sorry.
just want to say that I'm tired of the state telling us what to do, okay? Go ahead.
So
Yeah,
I happen to be involved in an aspect of a project down in Cape, so I got some knowledge on this, but they basically, DEP declared the entire Cape a nitrogen sensitive area. And because it's close to natural resources and things like that, there's a rush now to sewer everybody, I guess people who have private septic systems have to upgrade them within 5 years to a nitrogen loading system. So the entire Cape is under this program now to either join sewer, expand sewer, or upgrade their septic systems. And there's been some funds established where people can apply for low or no interest loans to help them upgrade their septic systems, would help them defer the cost of septic connections. Some of the towns like Yarmouth have offset the cost so that people don't get this huge betterment assessment that they can't pay. Betterment assessments are either assessed in a lump sum payment or annually for a period of like 30 years, and that's what they're doing. Like Yarmouth is partially subsidizing the cost, which I think they get some money from the state with some Mass Works grants and other things like that. But the remaining cost is on the homeowner. Like there's, for an average single family home, it's like $510 a year for the next 30 years.
What's the betterment?
That's for the people that choose to pay it over 30 years. It's $510.
$500,
$510 per year for 30 years. For
Oh.
30 years.
right,
But you can also lump sum it and be released from the betterment assessment. And we did that in Marshfield years ago. We gave the option of paying and connecting to sewer in a lump sum, or we allowed you to pay over a period of time, and
Right.
then when you're paid it off, you get a release from the betterment. So that's kind of what happened. But the reason we got talking about it, Diane, Jordan, and I got talking about it was it kind of in the context of the MBTA Communities Act, and if the town has available sewer connections, and I didn't know which way the town meeting vote would go or not go, using the available capacity for single-family homes or in the areas where it's already needed, and not having additional capacity in a strange way protects the town from having to accept, projects that, we wouldn't otherwise have to accept. A lot of that might be dispensed with because of the vote that occurred at town meeting, but it doesn't mean someone at some point might propose another 40B if we fall out of compliance or things like that. So I kind of encourage Diane to, try to press ahead with sewer, because if there's no capacity, the town has extra protection against the wrong types of projects. So, we're always concerned about the water resources, and we can handle that, through the permitting process. But, if we have extra capacity and some development occurs in that part of town where there's sewer capacity, we may have a hard time denying it if we have it available and it's not being used. So I think, I know it's your goal, and it's always been your goal to add more homes onto the area, so I kind of was encouraging Diane to bring it up as a topic and move ahead. No one wants to get another bill from anybody, but, if the Webster Street wells or, whatever wells are closer over to Kent Park or the river, are showing signs of trouble because of the contamination from septic system waste, which I understand is the largest polluter and contributes nitrogen to everything. It's unfortunate, we're just gonna do it, because otherwise you could lose a well, or the continuing cost of treatment is gonna just continue to add up.
There's 3 different factors, there's that, and the contamination at the rivers that the state is eventually gonna come down on us for. The capacity, the contamination at the rivers, and the wells. So it just really seemed like time to start getting very serious about moving forward with the plan.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here that's why we're talking about it.
I have a couple of questions. One is, what is the Duxbury agreement? And how hard is that agreement? And is there a sunset clause if they don't use it, to that agreement? That we have to keep a certain amount of capacity?
I haven't read it in a long time, okay, but Duxbury and Marshfield have been cooperative with one another for a long time about providing water and sewer out on the Gurney. I understand we take all their sewer out there and we provide them water. If you come up Careswell Street also, Duxbury provides water to the development on Careswell Street, just around the bend, I think it's Prince Circle. So there's some give and take there, where we provide them some water and sewer, and then they provide us water. So that's an agreement that I think is a 30-year agreement. I'm not sure when it's up, Bob. I'll look at it again. But the expectation is that we would consider renewing it with them as long as they're paying, because they're paying. We send them one bill and then they bill their customers, so Duxbury just gives us a lump sum payment for that. So it's not been trouble where we had the capacity before. We may not be able to offer them additional capacity, and maybe if they're not using the capacity we've allotted to them, maybe there's some capacity that can be recaptured, but I don't think you want to lose users either.
No, I understand that. I just wanted to get the feel for what the what's
usually
under the umbrella.
Yeah, 30 year agreement, but if they've asked for, 1.5 million gallons per day and they're only using 500,000.
Well, the issue is if we get into an area, Black Mountain, we're concerned about the existing wells there.
Yeah.
We have capacity, we need capacity there. I mean, looking at a spreadsheet, we put the numbers in and say like, okay, and then we look at Kent Park for South River. And then we look at other areas where the new 40B going in off of Ferry Street. So we do South River and we do Kent Park. We run over the hill and pick up the silver pies up there.
Yeah.
And we pick up the 40B, and now we're getting tighter, and then basically we're reserving this amount from Duxbury, and we need the capacity
Yeah.
where it doesn't give us any flex of that.
The one thing I can tell you about the 40B, and I know this because I was attending the ZBA meetings, is they're putting a nitrogen loading system in their septic. So instead of like being maxed out at 5 milligrams per liter, which would be the most they could deposit into the ground, they're projecting they'll only come into about 2 or 2.5 or 3. I mean, that's to be determined based on tests and evaluation, but you may not need to sewer them as quickly if they have that type of a system and it's functioning as designed.
But in my mind and my experience, nitrogen is only indicator. There are a lot of other things, and PFAS is the big one.
Sure it is.
I mean, what is the price Duxbury's paying for a treatment system?
I've heard tens of millions, maybe more.
It's like 15 to 18 million dollars, not because of nitrogen, because of PFAS.
Yeah.
So if PFAS is it, manufacturers that are just starting to pull the PFAS out of clothing, out of wastewater, out of the soaps. So that there's going to be a point that there's going to be less going in, but there's still existing, and it's an existing
never gonna
chemical
go
that's
away.
going to last for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
We're-
when we're doing our sewer evaluation on the different areas, I mean, it's residential homes that are the main source of PFAS. And just because the nitrogen is not high, it doesn't mean the other contaminants are not there also.
Yeah. There's a
And that becomes very expensive.
There's a PFAS treatment facility nearing its final design stages at Southway Naval Air Station.
Right.
And when that's done, that'll be going in. And they'll be filtering groundwater there for a generation or two, maybe longer.
We did talk, so are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
The technology for treating PFAS is a transfer type of technology. It's called bubble technology. And basically they're taking parts per trillion parts per billion, and through bubble technology, and concentrating it, and then basically taking that sludge, and then the sludge has to be incinerated to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit in order to destroy it. So all along the way, no matter what happens, it gets, you got the taxi meter going up and going up and going up and going up. So, yeah, but we have to be very concerned, and very concerned about the Black Mountain area, because it's all wastewater. It's not the nitrogen, it's the other components that's there that we need to. I'm also concerned about South River and the 40B that's in Ferry Street. So, I mean, those capacities are number one, number two, number three priorities moving forward. Other than the development and the MBTA stuff, I mean, nobody needs the MBTA stuff.
Good.
Nobody. I'm done.
Okay. So we did talk about, as part of a plan to prioritize, to figure out what the priority is.
Mm-hmm.
And you have kind of a good sense, but where are you gonna go, like, from here with figuring out the priority based on all of these factors, the wells on Black Mount, which are a priority, but then the rivers, because we don't know when the state is gonna come, like,
Yeah,
demanding that we do something.
I mean, I would think that Black Mount would be highest on the list because, that's our drinking water.
Yeah.
And that's something that we want to protect. I mean, as much as I would love to protect the rivers, that's not exactly here yet. We're not being told to do that yet. So I would think that Black Mount, and I think it would be, there's existing sewer right there that we can connect right into. So I think that would probably be one that we could get.
Where's the
moving on.
sewer? Where's the sewer we can connect
It's-
it?
Yeah, it's right at the corner of Careswell and Webster. I believe it
That's
goes
where
in.
we would have a pumping station.
Yeah, I
We
think.
own that lot,
Yeah, I think we'd have to.
yeah,
They did a pretty deep analysis. I think they have identified a couple town-owned parcels to.
No, I know we
have
are.
pump
I've
stations, but-
already looked into it.
Where a pump station would go, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the end of Parsonage and
Yep.
Webster.
I have a question regarding
Yeah,
drinking
I'm
water.
talking.
He's not done.
All right? When they wanted to put in a dog park over in Parsonage with town-owned land, and it was stopped because we would need that for a pumping station. And so that was discussed.
Okay.
So if we're gonna do Black Mount, that would be the good spot for a pumping station,
Yeah.
which is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have prices and potential different routes to go to fund it, betterment charges, and that they would think that it would cost and stuff like that.
But
That we
someone
could
has to
do.
pay for it.
Yeah.
And we got 4,200 people, or 4,300, and they can't pay for it. Maybe we could do a 50-50 split with the,
Yeah, and that's what Rob had talked about before, we had discussed it before we left, something like that,
Mm-hmm,
a 50-50 split or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Sewer 2000, I think, was 60-40. That was way back,
Mhm.
25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I do recall.
Yeah,
That was based on town buildings that were gonna be hooked up in the sewer. So we'd have to do a full calculation of what is the fair way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Town facilities versus private facilities, homeowners.
Could do both.
My concern, this is a question for town council. My question is, even if we sewered the place, Blackmount, we still got recharge. A lot of people in Blackmount have lawns. Chem lawn is a big contaminant of contamination of different chemicals that would get into your drinking water. And it's not just nitrogen. Is there a way to zone areas to limit those type of lawn chemicals in those areas where it's a drinking water sensitive area?
Not zone, but to pass a regulation that limits certain nitrogen-based fertilizers, yes.
That's a great idea.
It's not just that, it's also the, +2 weed killer,
Yeah,
those other,
well, whatever they tell you.
insecticide stuff.
Whatever they tell you is getting into the groundwater, you can probably pass a regulation that requires low, whatever that is, to be used in an area, if it's a nitrogen-sensitive area, or it's a wellhead protection area, yes. the
Yeah,
answer
because
is-
it's not just, my
You
point
don't
is, it's
need to
not,
get to town meeting, though. You have the authority to act as a board to protect groundwater.
We don't have to create a bylaw through town meeting for that. How do you enforce that though? Like,
Adopt it as a regulation.
yeah, but how do you enforce it? Like, what if people do it anyway?
You have the authority to enforce it.
Okay,
so we need to
State law-
work with public health.
State law gives
Yeah.
you the authority as a board to make regulations to protect groundwater.
right.
You
I
have
love
the
that
authority.
idea.
Well,
Mike-
what you should do is you should look around, because there are other communities that have it,
Okay.
probably mostly down on the Cape. Like, there's even some golf courses I've heard of, Martha's Vineyard and things like that, where they're not allowed to use any type of chemicals, and
Nantucket.
maybe Nantucket too.
It's Nantucket, no, Nantucket is the worst one.
Yeah.
Nantucket is, you know, a defined sole source aquifer. They're suing every house out there. I mean, I see it from my regular job. And that the regulations on the golf courses for, it's not just the nitrogen and the fertilizer, it's the other chemicals that are in there. It's pesticides that travel in large grain size sand and get into the drinking water.
Yeah.
And it's also those other things that, you know, it used to be +2, used to be Agent Orange. It was what they used to use, you know, 35 years ago. But there's other similar type of things that the stuff doesn't break down, and that we need to regulate that from a public health standpoint and a drinking water standpoint. So it would be a marriage between Board of Public Health and us moving forward on something like
I'm
that.
sure that they would be supportive of anything that
That's a good
improves
idea.
public health. I will tell you this, though, you know, getting ahead of this is important for Marshfield, because if we don't get ahead of it, like down the Cape, you can't find an engineer that's not, you know, fully backed up months before they can design your septic
Right.
upgrades. And if you're a septic contractor down there, you've got enough work that'll last 20 years, right now. So if everybody that's even remotely close to the Cape is already that busy, if we don't get out ahead of it and get going, at some point, I think, you know, you're hearing exactly the truth. They're gonna declare the southeastern Massachusetts as a nitrogen-sensitive area.
Right.
And if you're ahead of it, we'll be ahead of it. And if you're not, it'll take us that much longer and cost us that much more.
Right, so that's why we're, I mean, all reasons, lots of reasons why we're having this discussion now.
So one last question, because we're talking about agreements between towns. Because we also have an agreement with Pembroke for water and also Situate.
Correct.
What is our obligation with Situate as far as, is it just water, no sewer?
No sewer, just water to Situate. My understanding is that Pembroke, we have a connection, but it's not open. I didn't know if it is. There's a small portion of Pembroke that's
I
located on this side.
don't believe it is.
Yeah,
not
it's
open.
for emergency situations, I think.
Right, if Pembroke has a water emergency, we have the ability to supply them water.
Yeah, but there's no sewer component to it.
There's no sewer component to it.
Okay, so the only sewer component is with Duxbury.
Correct.
Okay.
As far as I know, the Pembroke property is landlocked too. I don't know how you get to it. So, I know when they passed their MBTA district, they initially passed it in a portion of the Pembroke that's on the Marshfield side of Route 3, and the state rejected that. They wouldn't let them do it there, because there was no access as practical matter couldn't be built, ever. So, they made their industrial parks their MBTA district. Off of Oak Street and Industrial Park Drive. That's their MBTA district.
Dumping on Marshfield.
So,
In
do you have
Duxbury.
any questions
No,
at this
go
point?
ahead.
So what's the next step with this?
I
Process to,
Well, if we identify which area we wanna move forward with, and then we'd have to get a consultant to do a deeper dive into this, you know, like soil borings to make sure that the sewer lines can actually go in, you know, there's no ledge and stuff like that, and actually get to designing the system. Right now, it's all hypothetical numbers and
Just conceptual at this
it's
stage.
conceptual, so we'd have to actually start designing.
And you're gonna want grants too for this, I assume.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this, having all of this information together and presented together is awesome, and I appreciate that. I think we need to not stop at that, so.
Yep.
So,
We need to support.
yeah, so you guys are prepared to
Some area.
begin moving forward with finding a consultant and then bringing it to us
Yep,
and with a
absolutely.
plan to,
Yeah, I think first things first, we would request proposals. I think it would make sense for us to try and go out to design for both.
and see,
And
right,
see
yeah.
what the price comes in at. I don't know if you have a different idea than that.
Define
Ken, but
both.
I would say
And
that-
Blackmore.
yeah, if we could get a decent amount of grant money and
For the
the
design.
the price point isn't insane, we can design both of these and, you know, Ken Park can sit on a shelf until we need it.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, the priority is the drinking water wells.
Mhm.
So I believe that Black Mount would have a bigger impact on the drinking water wells at this point in time. But back to Bob's point, in the future, also, the South River area would also have an impact.
In Ferry Street,
Yes,
because it's drinking water.
yes.
The other question, I have a comment on, inflow and, inflow of groundwater into our system and tightening it up. Do you have any idea what the level of inflow is and how can we tighten it up and the cost of tightening it up that would would help our capacity for future expansion?
We are currently looking at putting a contract together for pipelining, and we actually have a consultant coming in to show us a new kind of pipelining. It's called pipe scribing. It's for asbestos concrete pipes, which we have a lot of. So we're looking into getting like a 3-year ongoing contract where when we have money we can you know get a certain amount of feet done a year to line these pipes, because there's a lot of
That's that's how we're going to do it. I'm asking for, have we done an analysis of what is the capacity, percentage of wastewater that we're getting currently? How much is that on a dry day, regular flow
Yeah,
versus
so-
a wet
Yeah.
day, which would be the inflow? Do we know what the percentage is of flow coming in, it's actually coming in as clean water versus wastewater? And if we tighten that up, that we have that number, then we know what that number is if we tighten the system up in those older areas that we would be able to use in increase the capacity for new areas.
So historically, there was a study done, I can't remember when it was done, but I do recall reading it, and at that time, it was actually saying that the INI was not that significant for us. We do have the new Plymouth Avenue pump station, which is now operational with much better controls than we've had before. So we'll do some desktop work to look at the pump stations and see what the changes are when we get rainfall events, and see if we can see if there's a real problem or not. And if we have to, we'll have to hire a consultant, because you can really go very in-depth on those INI studies.
Yes.
With meters set up all throughout town, but let us look at the pump stations first and see if we can determine with the pump stations where we might have a problem.
But you might be able to squeeze a lot of capacity
True.
if you tighten up the systems.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've said this a number of times, and
Yeah,
it's not the ratepayers, it's,
Empty sheet list.
yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for
Okay.
stopping by
Great,
and
thank you.
advising us on that,
Thanks. Take care.
thanks.
It's not the, we have the sewer to protect our drinking water. That's the number one. Where we do that is, you know, we're the Board of Public Works, but we're the water company, and we really put that ahead of everything else.
Good.
And it's one town, so to get back to John's point, it's shared responsibility for everybody in town, regardless if they're on sewer or not, because everyone's on drinking water. And that's where we're trying to protect, is drinking water. And all these, the new scientists coming out there, we're getting all kinds of chemicals that are in there that are not even on the radar yet. So, you know, if we can do regulations as far as ChemLaw and people putting stuff on the ground and finally get into their drinking water, more power to us, because a lot of communities are not doing that.
Well, we'll talk about that definitely going forward, but so to wrap this conversation up, we're completed with this, right? So you guys are gonna start working on,
Yep, yeah, we can put a request for a proposal together
proposal
to
for
get some
consultants,
consultants on board to start design work. And I think right now we should try and get design work for both if it doesn't
Yeah.
cost too much. Just because Kent Park is gonna be the key to the rest of that side of town, because that's where we're trying to use Kent Park to cross the river to
Yeah.
get back into our sewer system. So Kent Park's gonna need to go in before we can, if we wanted to hook up the 40B, if we found issues down the road, that's where it's gonna have to go.
mm-hmm.
So
Right.
that's definitely an important one that we should definitely.
So you
try-
do-
Yeah, I
you
think
do
that's a
the
good
design.
idea to get a study for both.
Yeah,
for
to
both.
get a design in.
Preliminary, we do a study and a preliminary design before you do a design. You gotta know what your capacities are. It's basic, it's not a design, it's a study with a preliminary design of what the flows are. When you just say, when people think design, oh, we're gonna design it, they're actually putting the lines in. No, we're doing a whole you have to do a conceptual study capacity of what is required.
Well, when they
I
get
thought
the,
that's what this was.
right, so, well, anyways, you guys are moving, so we're gonna move on
Watch
from
it.
this topic now, so you guys are gonna move forward with finding a consultant, and then you'll be back with us on that.
Absolutely.
So, and we're gonna move forward and commit with this, okay,
I would
great.
like to review.
Awesome, okay.
Review whatever documents you were gonna send
Next
out.
subject, chief.
Alright, so we're gonna go to,
Here, have the-
we're gonna go, what?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're
Go ahead,
gonna
Matt.
move on to action items, okay, so, we have board to appoint Ken Ryan as superintendent.
So in section 1 of your book, I included a copy of my resume because
Thank you.
although I've been here for 3 years, you guys really didn't hire me. I just came through the other channels to get into town. So, just I'll do a quick summation. So,
Okay.
I went to school in Pennsylvania, Lehigh University, which is kind of like an equivalent of like Holy Cross or WPI, one of those colleges around here. Regional school, regional engineering school. I went through that on an ROTC scholarship, so I was joined the as a civil engineering officer in the Air National Guard Air Reserve for 10, almost 11 years, while I was doing environmental consulting in a bunch of areas, living in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So did environmental consulting, mostly working on waste projects. Then I jumped ship over to the private side in 1998. I joined a waste to energy company as the environmental engineer at a landfill. That landfill was on a site where the landowner wanted us to leave the site, but we had a contract, so we said as long as we're in compliance, we can stay here. So they watched everything we did. They had an engineer watching us to make sure we were doing everything in compliance. So it was very, very strict environmental compliance there, and we successfully continued to operate that landfill. Then I became the manager of that landfill. Did that for a while, then we started acquiring other landfills, and I became a regional landfill manager. And then I moved on to the business side and moved into a business manager role, where I had responsibility for a energy from waste plant in Springfield, another one in Pittsfield, a transfer station out in New York, and a couple landfills as well. So I did that where I was responsible for all the budgets, preparing the budgets, budget adherence, looking at opportunities to do acquisitions and improve the operation. I worked on contracts with municipalities to bring their waste to us. Then we came up with an innovative project where we were mining ash, because when you combust trash, the end product is ash, and what you don't see in your trash is little tiny bits of metal. But when you combust it and you reduce it down to a fraction of its size, the metal's still there. So we had a landfill in Peabody where we were digging up all the ash, we were processing it, and then we were pulling out the metal from it. It was a joint venture with a German company, and I was the managing director running that project. On that project, we had 2 shifts a day. We were going 24 hours a day, 20 people operating it. Great, it worked. It was amazing to see these giant construction pieces of equipment, and then to see pieces of copper wire that are that big that we were actually getting out of that ash from all this giant construction equipment. But it was very difficult to operate, very costly to operate, so ultimately it didn't end up working. But it was a great project, very innovative project that we had. So I left that job, went back into consulting for a couple of years, and then ended up coming here to Marshfield, obviously as the environmental engineer for a while, and then when Rob retired, took over as the town engineer. So that's me in a
Very
nutshell.
impressive.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Okay, so you want the job or what?
I want to get nominated for the job so that we can work on a contract
Right.
that if it's acceptable to everyone, then I take the job, yes.
Okay,
Make the
so
nomination.
I
Question.
make, question?
Yeah.
What's the question?
So question, since we don't have a contract, we still have a superintendent.
Mhm.
I don't think we can appoint Ken to superintendent fully until we only can appoint him to acting.
So what's the time frame on this?
My assumption was that I would be taking over for Sean when he left. So Sean's saying that he'll leave December 19th, so I would assume that we would work on a contract that would put me in place on December 20th.
Okay,
So we make a motion tonight to make him acting until the superintendent leaves.
Interim.
And then we work on a contract.
is
in
it
between.
interim or acting? I don't know, I thought it was just superintendent. I mean, I guess, so,
I mean, Sean's technically still here.
he's
still
technically-
working.
I'm just looking at the logistics of it.
Yeah.
so I can make a motion that we're, to the board, to appoint Ken Ryan as the DPW superintendent, to begin the following day that Sean has his last day, which is, I think, gonna be December 19th, I think is what it is.
That's my understanding, yes.
So that's the date that we're working
So
with right
I'm
now.
gonna make a motion to modify that,
Okay, what?
that we appoint Ken Ryan as acting superintendent until such time Sean Patterson retires, and in between, negotiate a contract to start the day Sean retires.
So, well, are you technically acting superintendent right now though, right? Aren't you? No.
No, he's.
No, you're filling in for,
He's town
Yeah.
engineer.
I know, but you work, like when he's out,
Right.
you're filling in.
Yes.
But there's no
Yes,
official word for that
yes, it's,
Okay.
no, the official word is the acting superintendent while the superintendent's away.
when he's out.
So,
Yeah.
so basically,
okay.
what we're saying is that we make him officially acting superintendent, and we negotiate a contract to start the day Sean retires.
Right, because we don't have a contract, so that has to happen. All right, so I'll make a motion to appoint Ken Ryan as acting superintendent while a contract is negotiated and Sean Patterson finishes up his days, so that we're ready to go and appoint you as superintendent on the day after his last day, which we I think is gonna be December 19th. That's what date that we're working with.
So,
So I'll make I'll second that motion.
Okay, does that sound good to you? Okay, all right, so all in favor?
aye.
Aye,
Thank you.
and thank you. Okay, all right, so Plymouth Ave Pump Station, change,
Change.
2024-01 change orders.
Yep, so this is change order number 4. So, as we're all familiar, we've had the Plymouth Avenue upgrade project that we've been working on. We had 3 other change orders that were approved. There's been some changes along the way that we're trying to wrap up into this change order number 4. We had some sump pumps that were in the dry side of the pump station that would just take water, regular sump pumps, and they would pump it into the wet well on the other side. So we got new pumps, new pipes, and when we went to the penetration on the wall, we said, that penetration isn't really good. So we poured it out, put new pipe in with new sealing around it.
Okay.
So that was one thing that we had to do that wasn't in the original design. Item number 2, the floors. We had originally that we were gonna do, the design said 25% of the floors would be re-epoxy coated. After pulling all the equipment in and out and doing all the work, we really said you really should do the whole floors. So that's an increase there. So the cost for that item is really just prorated from the original quantity to the final quantity. Item number 3, the wet well itself, above the water line, we knew it was kind of pockmarked, the concrete was deteriorated and chipped. So we had to sandblast it to clean it so they could epoxy coat it. When they sandblasted to clean it, more stuff fell off than was originally anticipated, which you'd expect. Also, we didn't assume we were gonna do the channels that are above the wet well that drop into the wet well, but while we were there, we said, let's do it all and make it all new. So that was additional cost there. Again, it was really just for the subcontractor's costs, very minimal other costs. Item number 4, we installed a new aeration blower. The blower was just old, and the channel grinders as well were old. That was a previous change order where we bought the channel grinders, but then the actual installation was a little bit of money. So the cost impacts, again, item number 1, which was the sump pump penetrations, was $1,600. Item number 2, the epoxy coating on the floor, was $18,939. Item number 3, which was the wet well itself, was $72,599. And item number 4, which was hooking up those grinders, was $1,300. So the total cost for this was $94,496.70. For the funding on this, again, this was a $9 million job that the town approved. In that $9 million job, we had $342,120.33 of contingency money. For that contingency, those previous change orders that we had, change orders 1, 2, and 3, were $148,000. We also hired Woodard and Curran to help us do the SCADA controls for the new pump station to coordinate it with our existing systems. So that was $54,000. So the remaining contingency we have today is $139,000. We have this $94,000 that we'd like to use against that contingency, so we still would have a little bit of contingency money left over.
Okay.
What is the percentage of completion, and will there be any other change orders?
Yeah,
There's
do you
like
think-
90, we're probably like 98%. The last 2% is always a pain to get done, so it's just some punch list items right now. There is one change order that they haven't given us yet. That was building a wooden deck where we had to have a shut-off, and it had to have access to the shut-off, which was a building department requirement, so that was extra, that wasn't in the original plan. So we have that little deck that we have to do, and one other set of piping that we have to do. So I believe that what is remaining on the contingency will cover those as well, and we'll still have a little bit of leftover contingency.
Okay. Questions? John?
No, I'm all set. This
Okay.
is just
Bob, you're all set?
gonna cut it dry.
All right, so to approve change order number 4 in the amount of $94,496 to Bizco Building Systems for the Plymouth Ave Pump Station Upgrade Contract 2024-01, and to authorize the chairman or designee member to execute the contract documents when they have been prepared.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Number 3, 2026-30, construction equipment rental and labor.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
So we have a current equipment rental and labor contract that is expiring on the 14th of November. So we went out to bid again for this same scope of work, It is to rent construction equipment with operator and labor for short-term maintenance, long-term infrastructure projects, or repair work to the infrastructure. And sometimes it requires emergency responses. We properly advertised it, Central Register, the Marshfield Mariner, Town Hall, and at Combis. We received one bid at the bid opening, which was last week, November 6th at 2 o'clock. It was Mass Pavement Reclamation, was the sole bidder, and the bid price was $521,000, which is an estimated annual amount. And we have two 12-month options. After the first year is up, we can extend them for 2 additional years at that same price.
So were they the only bidder, because that's who we've had before? Is that who we've had before?
Yes, that is who we currently have under contract until the 14th. So we've been working with them for the past 3 years. We're satisfied with the work that they've done. They're pretty responsive and they're right in town, so
Yeah,
they're
And they're state
always around.
approved, so we can use them on Chapter 90
Right.
projects, which is important for us.
so that number must be based on like an average of what
So-
they've done, or
No, so
what's it
so,
based on?
It is looking at some historic ones, but what we do is we say, we need you to bid on all of these pieces of equipment. And
Okay.
you'll see it attached. We
This
have
is the tiny little writing
Tiny
here?
little writing, yes.
Okay.
So we ask them to give us an hourly rate for all these pieces of equipment, and then we throw in assumed hours that we're gonna use for those pieces of
Okay.
equipment, and then we total that up, and that's how we came up with the total
Okay.
price.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
just wanted to make sure that we had a total price that, we most likely won't exceed.
Right,
Because last contract, we had 400,000 a year. This one we did about 500 a year.
mhm,
That way, if we're ever, approaching that limit, if we were ever approaching that $400,000 limit, we kind of made it more so that we don't have run into any issues with, the contract exceeding what they did for work.
because you assume
So
that those prices are going up,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything else, right?
But if you look at the tiny table, what we show is the 22, what their rate was, which is our current contract, and then 2025. And you can see for a lot of them, in the percent change, they kept their prices the same, even though
Yeah.
it's 3 years later.
Yeah,
So
that's good,
we feel that this is a very reasonable bid that was presented.
right,
Some of the items are higher, but some of those items we don't even use.
okay,
Yeah, the majority of the ones that we used did not change at all.
yeah, that's
Like
good,
the excavators and.
okay. Do you have questions, Bob, John, and
I
Bob?
have a question.
Yeah,
So on the funding, we have the ARPA funds, Chapter 90 funds. So what percent water and sewer funding? You've got, how much is, what percent of that?
So
It's on a rental, it's on a time and materials basis, so it's only as needed. 1 year we might not use them at all. 1 year we might have a major infrastructure, like a water main that we're doing right now, and that's a good chunk of the money, but it all depends on what we need. They're just there if we need them.
So for instance, we had the July incident where we had a problem with the force main coming out of the Avon Street pump station. So since we had them under contract, we could say, hey, I need excavators here, we gotta dig a hole and figure out what's going on. So they worked on that for us. We charged that to the emergency reserve fund for wastewater at the time. We're doing Old Plain Street water main right now, where we had some water main upgrade money in our budget. So we're using that money. Basically, this is to supplement our forces. So our guys have been busy doing other things, so we hire these guys in, we manage them so that they don't have to have oversight. We're just paying for their bodies and we're telling them what to do. So they're working on that project now, but that comes out of water. So it really all depends on where the money is and what work we have for them.
and what they're working on, where it's
Yes.
great, okay.
So if we have two separate incidents. One, the equipment is being our equipment,
Yes,
but if we have another incident, you have this as a backup
yes,
to do it.
yes.
And what, a question, what's happening on Plain Street, the water,
Old Plain Street, we're installing a new water line, because that's one of the oldest water lines that we have in town.
That's
So
right.
it connects from,
that's right behind the Veterans Park there.
yeah, just upstream from
Yeah.
Veterans Park. So it connects from Plain Street to Main Street, right through that road.
Yeah, we did some work there a couple of years ago too, but.
Yeah, well, we shot the pipe underneath it, and now we connected up to both sides of
Okay.
it, yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, we
that's
did do
being
that
done
job.
with this equipment?
Yes,
And it's the labor and the
and the
equipment?
equipment rental, yes,
And that's coming out of the water?
yes, water upgrade, water main upgrade.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Good,
I got a comment too.
yep, go ahead.
So we need, augment our highway and other forces. Is this the only contractor we're gonna use? Are we, because historically, we've been using some local contractors, augment this.
I mean, we put this out to bid so that anybody could bid on it.
I know I get that, but a lot of our smaller contractors that live in town, have done work for the town in the past.
Now, for instance, we have a bulldozer agreement with somebody who's
Yeah.
local, yeah, so.
Yeah,
this
so
doesn't-
basically a BG&E.
This doesn't preclude us
this-
from working with anybody, this just gives us the ability.
So this
to
is
use
just, we're not gonna exclusively
It's
cut the local guys out and just give everything to this guy, the heck with the local guys.
Not necessarily, no.
No,
This
this,
is
I
just
think
has
it's
somebody-
non-exclusive agreement, so we
So
can
basically,
use-
this is a trump card if we can. If it's a small job, in my estimation, our small contractors could not bid on this job, because it's probably they don't have the depth in their company to do so. But they do have, but our contractors in town could do smaller jobs, to a dollar value, and you spread the work around. That's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah, this feels like bigger,
So, I mean, if you only got
Like
one
bigger
bid, it's
picture,
because
right?
the depth isn't there. But I would still like to do past practice if we can give local contractors work for the town. It would be nice to, spread the work around.
right, so that's still happening.
Yeah, and they're a Mass DOT pre-qualified contractor, so they can work on any roads in town, basically, is
Right.
another requirement that we had
Okay.
of this
Yeah.
contract, so.
All right, good,
My only concern is
yeah,
that we're gonna cut the local guys out, where we've been giving work across the board to our local guys,
right.
who pay taxes and stuff.
These guys are in Marshfield.
Yeah,
They're
these
also-
guys are-
They too,
Yeah.
yeah, but there are other smaller ones that could not bid on this even, because they don't have the depth of that.
Yes.
It's just
All right.
too small.
So that was made clear, and we appreciate that concern. I totally agree with it. I think you guys are very focused on that as well. So I'm gonna make the motion to award contract 2026-30 construction equipment rental and labor to the lowest qualified bidder, Mass Pavement Reclamation, Inc., Marshfield, in the sum of an estimated annual amount of $521,000 based on the specifications and hourly rates in the contract documents, and authorize the chairman of the Board of Public Works or designee to execute the contract documents when they have been prepared.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have a driveway permit for 247 Winslow Road. Is it, Mercer, would you mind coming up, please, to the, closer to the front?
Just a correction too, it's Winslow Street.
Okay, so I'll just change that to driveway permit to 247 Winslow Street. And you can have a seat if you don't mind. Do you have something for us to look at, is that okay?
I mean, as the planning board's approval.
Okay, so we'll, right, so we just need you to
think
state
we
your,
have that.
state your name and
Yeah, I
address.
think
We
we
have that though, but thank you. If you could state your name and address, please.
Jacqueline Creed, 247 Winslow Street, Marshfield.
Okay, all right. So we got this stuff already and we looked at it, and Attorney Galvin had sent an email. So Did anybody have any questions about it?
I asked staff if they had a problem, they said no,
Yeah,
looks good.
yep,
I usually go along with staff.
yep, and the email, also stated that, that I got, so that it was fine, and, I think it was Ken that answered that and said they'd gone by. Do you have any questions?
I'm just looking for the item.
Okay,
Number
oh,
Four.
number 4.
I don't have any package. I have no.
You don't have number 4?
On the number 4, I have this.
Oh. Okay.
I have
Do you
the
wanna see?
equipment rental and.
Well, I saw it in an email, so do you wanna see that?
Okay.
Okay, you can.
Oh,
driveway.
Yeah, so do you have, any questions or anything to add? Ken?
No, we're all set.
All right, so I think we're, is there a motion on there anyway? Oh, I don't think I have.
Motion to approve.
So I'll just make, you don't have any, well, we'll wait till he finishes the thing.
no, I'm yet to want to establish a policy for ADUs, for water hookup.
Well,
And-
so this is about a driveway.
No, I get
so
that.
we're gonna stick
This
with
is-
that.
This
yeah.
is still, it still has to deal with hooking up to town services and putting 2 dwellings on 1 lot. And which is
There's nothing-
by
So
right.
this is,
Nothing to do with it.
so we have to just stick with the topic of it's a driveway. I'm sorry, Bob, but we can't go into the other part of that conversation, because this is just for the driveway.
So I approved the driveway.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve,
Two driveways.
the driveways. Wait, where does it say two?
We have 2 driveways.
Yeah. this is
Okay.
One existing, right?
Oh, right, okay, so at 247 Winslow Street, Marshfield, Mass. And, did you say a second?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, okay, great, perfect.
So I would like staff to come up with a formal policy on ADUs,
Yes.
hookups, and funding hookups to sewer and water.
So we'll put that, we should put that on the
It'll be on the
agenda for
next
the next
agenda.
meeting.
That's what I'm asking for,
Yeah.
and driveway things, so.
Yeah, I agree,
So that we have a.
should put that on the
we,
agenda.
Codify it somewhere in writing.
All right, so we'll have that on the next agenda so that we can discuss it at a meeting. Thank you. Okay, we are done with
Good luck.
action items, and we're moving,
Make a comment
oh,
on, you're talking water.
okay,
We gotta go into the state mass general laws on the water and sewer connection. Very explicit,
Yes,
that nothing can be put in the way of an ADU.
correct.
And it's very, very important that we know that, because there has been cases adjudicated that an ADU is a right.
Yes.
And there's nothing that we can do to make that any more difficult or any more expensive.
yeah, we don't wanna get sued.
Well, it's already been decided in the court,
Yeah, so we don't, exactly, I know, I totally agree with you,
you
yes.
know, so.
So, on to.
Yeah, so, but we are not having this discussion,
That's-
okay?
No, but I would
So I'm
like-
gonna end
I would
the
like-
discussion
I'd
of it.
like to know that staff is working on something so we can have a future discussion on it.
See, we're gonna have it on the next agenda, okay? Oh, do you agree? Deb, no,
It's like a
just say I agree.
wine-
We're gonna have it on the next agenda.
Okay.
And then we can talk all you want about it, because we'll have it on the agenda.
If we don't have
Alright,
something
we're
in
moving-
writing, we give guidance to people, then we're in trouble.
We are moving on to, the trash barrel
That was me.
discussion.
That was me on
Okay,
the, on the
what did you want to talk about?
Well, the town is picking up the trash at the town pier and other places, town beach, town parking lot. So, I would like to see that the cost of the labor is coming out of the general fund, and the actual weight is tracked so that it goes into the offsets. And at one time, during this year, the ratepayers were paying for it. on the weekends. That's what was happening.
Yes, and that's been corrected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but how did it start? No, that's the problem we have here. We've gotta come to some kind of resolution, is to follow the enterprise fund manual, that 53 E and a half. That we can't allocate funds from the ratepayers for a project that is the general fund, it's for the whole town. So that's very disturbing that it would just, all of a sudden, the ratepayers are paying for it. So I'd like to see that money come back on the offsets. I wanna know how much that is, not now, and put it in the offset.
And so we'd have to, I don't know when that practice started, so, but I know that it has been corrected.
You must have payroll, so.
Yeah, I just would have to, I don't know when to start to look, so I'd have to go back.
Oh, yeah, that's what I
and
meant.
see. I don't know how,
I'm not-
if the policy ever
I'm not-
changed, if it continued for.
I'm not saying you had anything to do with it.
Oh, no, I'm just clarifying for you, I don't know if they always did it that way. So I think it's something we'll have to look at.
So you're saying it's gonna take a good amount of research to track that back and find it?
It will take some
It's-
time, yes, especially
Okay.
because they've switched, the records on the system that we use is different than it used to be, so, it's, yeah.
Don't you have codes?
What's that?
Did you have codes?
We do, but if we're not using the same system, that doesn't, we can't access what was previously done, so I don't know how long, this.
Well, I'm not looking to go back a number, you can go back 2 years or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I can do that, yeah. I was talking about, like I said, I don't know when it started, so, but I can absolutely go back 2 years and take a look and see.
Take a look at.
Well, how long have you been on the board, John?
I've been almost, we're going on my 12th year.
So doesn't it go back before that? Or when did,
Well, I discovered it by asking the question, why during the week it was 1 employee
right,
from the highway, and on the weekend it was 2.
yeah.
So I asked, why is there 2? And, well, where's the funding? And I found out the answer was,
Yeah.
the weekend, it's, the ratepayers were paying for it. It's coming out of the trash account.
Mm.
So I found that out by asking a question. Did you see, that's what happens.
So what is reasonable to go back to? Time,
years.
2 years?
Oh, yeah, I can absolutely do that, yeah.
Then I would just, if John, you okay with just going back 2 years and we'll figure out from there?
Sure.
That's all, I mean,
Yeah, that's.
you don't have to go back 100 years, I mean,
I didn't ask for it.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
Go back to the stone tablets.
I can absolutely do that. Let me
No.
pull out the big stones. Yeah, I can get that working. We're off tomorrow, so we can start on Wednesday.
So maybe we can have a discussion, maybe we can have it on the next meeting agenda if you,
Oh,
if you're
yes.
able to come.
Oh, yeah,
Well, you'll let us know ahead of time.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of
Yeah.
weeks.
And also to add to that, right now is where they're developing the indirect costs for 2027.
Mhm.
So, well, I think I don't wanna jump to the next.
Right, we have that
thing
next.
Yeah, so, but it's a good time to
Mhm.
try to put this together and to get the financial team on board. Not too sure if we got a new treasurer, an old treasurer, what's gonna happen there. We got a second temporary town administrator. I'm not sure if we'd like to develop a meeting with the temporary town administrator if he stays through the budgeting of the 2027.
I think he's only staying to January is what I was told.
Yeah. Well, Peter Moran, when I.
I know, right, he was not gonna, and then he was.
Well,
Yeah.
Peter Moran agreed that the indirects, we could use the actual costs,
Mhm.
and I think you have that 2009,
Mhm.
that they agreed that would use this spreadsheet that shows a lot more detail.
Yeah, so I know Mike has something that we can all look at. We can set that up
Yeah.
with you and us and Meg, and she can show you what she's come up with.
Yeah, but that's nice of you to say that, because this is the time to, to try to work our way through that, to
Yeah.
see what they'll accept and what we can come up with.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
And I can I can be helpful because I've worked on this for
Yeah.
years.
So we can set that up
Definitely the
Maybe-
expert on it.
later this week or next week to meet with Meg.
Yeah, I can,
Yes.
I can, whatever works for
Yeah,
you guys, I'm
perfect.
pretty flexible.
Okay.
You know, if you give me a time, Ken, and,
Yes.
yeah, then we
We
can
will.
meet, just
Yeah.
jumble it around and see
Yeah,
if we come up
absolutely.
with.
Yep.
Good.
And the last thing I'll say, instead of the financial team just pushing the indirects in our face and say, here it is, take it or leave it. And if you don't agree with us, we're gonna use last year's indirects,
Mhm.
which is not in the manual at all. They make up their own rules, but I think things are changing.
I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be good.
There's a lot more people that agree that this change has to happen.
Yeah.
And there weren't, that didn't exist before,
Yes,
so.
there are people who are absolutely listening to our concerns
Yes.
and are looking
Yeah.
to improve them, for sure.
Yeah, and that is
Good.
very good, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for doing.
All right, so are we on to tie and bond now? Do you have anything?
Number 3,
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
I-
we're,
I gotta get my glasses on again. We're out.
forensic audit update.
oh, yeah, I'm sorry, skip one. Yeah, number 3, thanks.
So in section 7 of the book, so as we discussed before, we put out on the street a request for CPAs to do an audit of the enterprise funds. And we didn't get any responses back. But I did have a meeting with one of the engineers we work with, Ty and Bond, and just said, do you know of anybody? And they said, well, we're not a CPA firm, but we do financial analysis, and we have helped other communities do ratepayer analysis and look at what their indirect costs were from their enterprise funds and how the town was charging back to the enterprise funds. So I got them to give me a proposal, which is what's here attached. We
I
can,
think I lost it.
so you can take a look at it, but basically they're saying that they would go in and they would look at other municipalities and what other municipalities are doing. Look at some of their other ratepayer studies that they have done, that are in-house, and then they would compare them and kind of look at what's been charged against ours versus what other communities are doing, and see if that helps us with our analysis.
Start. It's a
Pardon me?
start.
Yeah, because, I mean, we specifically put the CPA thing in there, and then we didn't get anything, so that did make it seem like maybe it was too specific, or, you know,
Can I?
yeah, go
Can
ahead.
I talk?
Yeah, go ahead, what?
So Ty and Bond is not a CPA.
Correct.
Then they're not exempt from 30B, so we have to put it on the bid.
They're exempt if they're doing engineering work.
If they're doing engineering work, is fine, they're exempt. But doing engineering work has nothing to do with certified public accounting.
Yes.
It can't happen.
That's
because
true. If you look at their proposal, they're
Yeah,
not
they-
claiming to do CPA work, they're claiming
I
to
know,
do financial analysis.
I know it. I attended 24 hours of training with the Inspector General.
Mhm.
And it was specific in there that if like an engineering firm could be exempt for engineering,
Correct.
but they can't step into CPA. They can't step into, now I'm a CPA because I'm exempt as an engineer. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. They would have to be, part of their company would have to be a CPA, which they're not, so I could see what the bid would be, but the bid would, and we'll get caught up with the Inspector General for sure. It has to go out to bid, and the bids would have to be, 3 bids.
I agree with it from a CPA point of view. What they're offering is an alternative to a CPA audit. They're offering a financial analysis from an engineering perspective and from what other communities have done. So just consider
They
the
call it
proposal.
rate study, basically. So what about the procurement officer that we have now? Would they be of any help in figuring out
We could definitely talk to her about if she's done this in any of the communities she's worked with,
Or-
absolutely.
or if she has any, opinion on this, or this, does it conflict with the CPA? you
Well, I
know?
think John's
Good
100%
point,
right.
yeah.
If it was, if they were offering CPA services, it would be questionable.
Right,
But they're not. They're offering financial analysis from an engineering perspective.
and does it get, I mean, with that, I haven't read this whole thing, but is this proposal, is this scope that they've given us cover everything that we put in that RFP?
No,
That's what you really need to determine. Is it meeting your requirements?
No.
Okay, all right, well, I have to
no,
read it. so-
but it does give us information.
Yes.
That's why I said this is a start.
We can't.
I mean, we're not voting on this anyway, so we're
No.
we're discussing it, so,
Okay,
But I do have a couple of comments.
go ahead.
well, wait till I finish.
Oh, wait, he's not done.
So, why can't we look at the bid that we put out with the requirements? Why can't we look at that and maybe limit that a little bit? You know, I think we had some areas in there that maybe the CPA individual companies didn't want to meet. So if I had that contract, we could go over it, but we could look at we could look at what we put out to bid and maybe dumb it down a little bit, you know? It would bring companies that would be more interested. I think we said they needed 5 years of this and they needed, it was pretty strong.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it was too specific, yeah.
It's too strong. If we can look at it again and come to a consensus that the staff will, you know, not make it as strong as it was, and see if we can get somebody to bid on this.
Sure.
Because if we go even I know this, the Tie and Bond has another report that's due, but that's nothing to do with a CPA. It would be difficult to, you know, use these companies for this audit, which has been, I think it's been now 9 years.
So I think
Wait 9 years for
there's a discussion on what is the goal, what are the different objectives that we're trying to achieve on this audit.
We worked on that, that's in the
Yeah,
RFP.
I understand that. The goal was to determine whether the costs that were being charged on the enterprise fund, correct me if I'm wrong, this is going strictly from memory, and were they justifiable? The second component, that was one objective. Another objective was, there were a lot of homes being reevaluated because they're basically being torn down and put up, and there's more bedrooms and there's more demand
That's not.
on a wall.
That wasn't in this, that wasn't in this.
No, I-
That's the other tie and bond.
That's the,
Was that?
That's the other tie and bond.
Am I confusing this?
Yep, because they're so closely connected. I totally get it, I confuse it all the time too.
Okay, so basically I'm confused then.
It's okay.
Because if this is discussion, it's okay to be confused, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we're having a discussion, it's like, you know, because under the forensic audit.
I can clarify
Which
if
is,
you
which
want
is
real
item,
quick.
which is item number 7, right?
Yeah,
It has the proposal from Ty and Bond that talks about, increasing the value of the base.
yeah, but that's the next one. So we're on forensic
But mine's on the number
audit.
7.
oh, yeah.
So the forensic audit, I'll just clarify real quick, okay? I'll just clarify real quick, because they are connected in a weird way.
Wait a second.
So the forensic audit RFP that we put out, we were looking for a CPA, I guess, to look at the history, how many years did we say go back, 5 or
I
something?
think we
Yeah.
said 5.
5 years. Look at the history of the enterprise accounts going back 5 years. Figure out what all the charges were, where we got lump sum charges. And we wanted to know what the specific charges were, to know whether they were charged correctly, overcharged, which was the kind of thought that maybe that might have happened.
Yeah.
And what should have been charged, and were the enterprise accounts owed money from the general fund? And then based on that all, make a recommendation of what our procedure is gonna be, would be going forward to
Recoup.
make everything correct. So that was essentially it, right? Am I missing any part of it?
Yes.
Okay, and that's what we didn't get an applicant for.
Correct.
So I think we need, what I would like to see is if Sharon and Ken maybe, or whatever you guys wanna do, would take that and take this and go see the procurement officer and Meg and kind of brainstorm with that team over there and see if there's a way to do it that is not gonna break any laws, obviously, but that can actually get it done. 'Cause we
You
need
need
to
a
get it done.
CPA, that's all.
Yeah.
So, and then can you think you can do that before the next meeting?
Yeah,
And have like
absolutely.
a recommendation, or, and maybe it's just changing that RFP and make it not so strict or something?
Yes.
Or, however that has to get done. And then the next thing, Bob, is the
Yeah, so let me,
tie and bond
Yeah.
update, which
But I'm not being able to
confuse them
say
all the
anything,
time.
so-
No, I just wanted to
I
clarify
know
that
that,
for you.
I
'cause you-
can't open my mouth if you're jumping down my throat all the time. So,
okay.
let me speak.
Just trying to clarify.
All right, what is being proposed by Ty and Bond in this number 7, right, is not what we're looking for, and I agree with John on that. That we're looking for a number crunching exercise, not looking for how other municipalities do the indirects. That's what they're giving us. How does other municipalities do the indirects the way it should be? We're not looking for that. We're looking for, and I agree 100% with John, which I don't always, but I agree with 100% with John, that we wanted to go and do the numbers component to it, and basically, it's a number crunching component, and we don't really care how other communities do it. That's what Time Boy's trying to give us, like, we'll go through 7 to 10 other communities and we'll see, this is how they do it. They missed the boat, well, that doesn't fly, it's not worth the paper they wrote it on.
Well, and just to be clear, we sent out a bid for a CPA, we got 0 responses.
No, I get that.
I was talking to an engineer, asking advice on CPAs, and they said, well, they have a different alternative that they could look at. So
Yeah.
just offering it to you.
No,
as a different alternative.
if I was looking for how do other communities do indirects,
Mhm.
this would be a good proposal, but we're not looking at that. We're looking for going backwards and looking at the numbers.
Okay.
We're
Did
looking,
I say that right, John? Because I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
just gotta make that point.
Well, no, true, I mean, we need Ty and Bond, what's confusing in this is Ty and Bond is replying to the forensic audit, plus the extrapolation of the properties that have used the sewer to, knock down a small cottage and build a McMansion, and the assessment of that property was, in particular, one that across from St. Anne's, was $250,000. Now it's almost $800,000, and it's all due to the sewer because it was a 3,400 square foot lot.
Mhm.
So I met with Ty and Bond. We met, we Zoomed the meeting,
So
and
this is the next topic.
yeah. Well, it's in this. That's why it's confusing the plot.
Yeah.
We need to look at the bid for a CPA, look at what we put out, see if we can use less strong language or lower the expectations for a CPA. And then this Ty and Bond, next discussion, and I can wait for that, so.
Yeah, we can, are you done with this?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we need a
So-
CPA, that's what, we don't need Ty and Bond for a CPA.
All right, so, seeing that you're both done, I'll make my opinion now, again.
Well, I'm not
on
done,
this.
but I'm holding my tongue right now.
I don't ever like to totally, like, block somebody's opinion. They might have a good idea, I don't know if this is a good idea or not a good idea. But I would like to see the RFP that we made and this looked at by you guys with Meg and the procurement officer, and see if you can brainstorm up a way to get somebody to bid and get this done, okay? So I think it does make it confusing to have the same consultant's name on two different things that we keep kind of getting. We like started both at the same time and they do have similarities, so I don't think that they can be, obviously it's confusing because it's being confusing right now,
So,
people, so. So can
Suggestion.
you'll do that and
Yes.
then we'll see if we can come up maybe with another way to attack this.
Yes.
suggestion,
What?
I said,
putting an RFQ or RFP, without actually picking up the phone, call somebody, let them know it's out there. You're gonna get 0 bids. I'm a procurement officer myself.
Mm.
You really need to find out who does this out there, and then basically hand them, or tell them, here it is on the web, you got a proposal, and just, you need to get it to us the end. How do you shake the tree is you go to Mass Municipal, you go to the McCormick Institute, UMass Boston, who do all the public information, public administration type of analysis in the state, and find out who else has been doing this and what firms have been doing it. And then find those firms and then basically find who writes the proposals for those firms, contact those folks and say, hey, we're coming up with this RFQ for forensics on our indirects. We'd like you to take a look at it. So that's the suggestion.
so you could do that.
Okay,
Could also call, and I'll give you the names of the towns that have done this. I think Saugus did it, I think, I have it at my office. I think it's Peabody. There was 3 towns that did this years ago. They had a forensic audit that really shook up the whole place, really.
Do you know what the firms were, John?
I got them at my office.
Yeah, so that would be a starting point.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I think Saugus was one of them. Yeah, Saugus.
do you have the actual thing, like, that they did? Okay.
Yeah,
A link to that? That would be interesting to read.
yeah, I'll find it. I have it at the office. Other towns have done this.
Mhm.
And to recoup the money, when it's shown that we were overcharged, even in, Dave can attest to the healthcare cost of it
Mhm.
doubled for no reason. I mean, it was plain as day. We could put that in the offsets.
Mhm.
And if it's quite a bit of money, we could just, every year, put a certain amount in the offsets that will address that, and eventually it would be paid back
Right.
to the ratepayers. So I'll find the thing. I know Saugus was one of them. I think
Okay.
Peabody might have done it too. There was 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. Anything else on that?
Other than procurement is a lot of work if you don't do your homework. You
Okay,
get what you do for your homework.
Okay.
so we're moving on to the time bond update.
So in section 9 of my book,
Yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm,
so we have a draft from Time Bond
okay.
for the study that we commissioned a while ago, which we were reviewing with them. And so they've looked at kind of the study area, which is basically the area that we're sewered. They looked at assessors data, building permits, and they have a list of places that they looked for addresses. They looked at 34 properties. And then they looked from 2016 to 2025 to figure out what the increased value of those projects were. So getting to John's point about each house has a listing of what it was pre-improved value versus the post-improved value. So you can see kind of the percentage increase in the valuation for those properties.
Where is the percent increase?
Third page.
Third page, middle
Oh,
column.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, yeah, you could see it right there.
Now, the one thing that's curious about this is that they picked the one at the bottom, which is a house that they said nothing was done on, but the value on that property increased dramatically over the same time period, even though nothing was done on it, which seems a bit curious.
Probably a mistake in the assessments.
Yeah,
No.
so I asked them to go back and look at it, maybe a couple more to see if that's really true, because I don't think everybody's house in Marshfield has gone up by that much in that time period.
How did they pick these properties?
They went to the building department and looked for people who pulled building permits in
Okay.
those windows and were doing like expansions on the property.
So if they were looking at building permits, but nothing was done on this property, why is it even in, like,
Because the question was, if you just look at ones and say, they got a building permit, they expanded, their value went up by this much, but how does that compare to somebody who didn't actually do anything? Because their property value also probably went up, or their valuation went up as well.
Correct.
So they were just trying to have a baseline.
okay.
There were two components on this evaluation. One is the existing properties naturally increased
Yes.
because of inflation. The second is, how much more did the property increase over and above the natural valuation because they had water and sewer to it, and that the house is actually has an added value to it. So we're looking for the added value.
Yes.
Because they built it, made it bigger.
Because they had the ability to have water and sewer on the property. It's the same issue of when you add an ADU to a property, the incremental increase because they have water and sewer available, that would also be the added value to the existing property. So, and the question really is that a significant amount that really affects the ratepayers? That's the way I look at it in my mind. I'm not sure if
Can I do-
everyone else looks at it that way.
Did you finish?
No, but I'm just saying, it's like,
Okay.
because I mean, if you look at Olympia, 346 was 2016 price. It's 663 now. I mean, if you look at even the tax evaluation of that same property, any of the other properties,
It's a mistake.
be going up similar. I know my property has gone up, from 16.
John?
Okay. The reason I asked for this update from Ty and Bond is all these homes were improved. And the only way they could be improved was that they had town sewer. Because other than that, they didn't have enough land to increase and knock the small cape down and build a McMansion. And that's what they could do as long as they had sewer. Because other than that, they couldn't improve their property and still have room for a septic system. So what I was looking for, which they've done, is that they showed that the property value increased when they improved their property. You know, they put these McMansions, they're everywhere. There's literally hundreds of them that they've improved due to the sewage. So I wanted to show that the improvement increased the value of the home, which increased the tax base due to sewage. And the prime example is the home across, it's on Foster Ave. That, it's on 3,400 square feet, 3,400 square feet, that's what the lot is. And the home that was there was a cape, with no inside shower. I used to do the plumbing, shut it down, it had no heat. Someone bought it, it was assessed for like $250 due to the fact that it was across the street from the ocean. It was the land. But they knocked it down and they put a McMansion there. And $250 went to $800,000.
Why isn't that on here? Like, I just, yeah, and I don't wanna forget, like Foster, I'm asking Ken.
I don't know the date that
I
that was
mean,
done.
that's,
Yeah.
it could have been here, but, you know, there's a lot of them. Look at
I mean, I
the,
don't see thought.
I mean, all of them, look, you know, the percent that they went up, 239%. So what I was looking for in the end result was that the financial team, the town fathers that come up with the budget, look at the cost of the sewer, and when we have a infrastructure repair, I want the town to kick in 60-40, 50-50, because the sewer has increased the value of the property, which has in turn increased the town's tax base and what they've collected.
That was the whole point of the
That's the whole
thing,
point.
right?
It's not to raise anybody's tax.
Right.
It's to show the financial team that due to the fact of the town sewage on these properties, that there's no way that they would have gone up to a McMansion because they don't have the room. They don't have room for towns. They'd have to use a tank, which they wouldn't do. So right here proves it. You know, if we could sit down later on with the whoever is going to be the financial team and see if on our heavy infrastructure repairs, we want the town to kick in, which so far they haven't. I'm not too sure if they're inclined to help us with any infrastructure. Right now, I don't think they are. I think it's the ratepayers for the wastewater, which are only 42 to 4,400 people, that's gonna go bankrupt. It will. Eventually, that will bankrupt with the ADUs coming in, with these McMansions going up on these small lots. Eventually, the wastewater is gonna get to the point where, right now, the cost in the utility bill, water doesn't cost anything. Water's like my bill is like $100, $200. Sewer is $500.
What, you don't flush, John?
Yeah. Flushes down towards you.
I would like to read are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna read the findings of this just for the audience, so that, because they can't see it. So it wasn't a look at every single property, like the one that John just mentioned, for instance, isn't in this. So it was, they picked kind of a spattering and then how to control one control property. So the findings of this analysis finds that 15 of the improved properties evaluated, so just the ones evaluated, in the study area expanded the number of bedrooms. These expansions may not have been permissible under Title V septic regulations if the property were at the maximum allowable bedroom count, while the control property at Olympia clearly showed the home valuations in the study area have increased over the study period. Our findings suggest that the availability of public sewer may have supported the expansion in the number of bedrooms and the resulting significant increase in valuation. An analysis of the size of the property parcel relative to the pre-existing bedroom count under Title V regulations was not part of the scope of this assessment, so that's why, but may further prove the Board of Public Works assertion that the availability of public sewer has a positive net impact on the local tax base. So I mean, it shows that the premise or the idea or whatever is accurate, and then it would just take a lot more assessment to be able to like flush it all out and figure out what the actual numbers are. But
But there
as
is,
far as getting the town to kick in that equal percentage of any big, future projects, I think it shows what you intended, do you think?
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, could I expand a little on this?
Yeah,
Just for the audience watching this replay. 70 Parker Street went up 239%. It was assessed at $380,100. Now they went up, put their McMansion up. They couldn't have done that without the sewage. It's now assessed for $1,288,300. It's gone up 239%. There's another one on Richard Street, went up 125%. It was assessed for $570,000. They went up to $1,292,000. I'm not gonna go over all of them, but, I mean, this has increased the tax base, which increased the coffers of the town. So it's understandable if we have infrastructure repair, the general fund should kick in because that sewer increased the tax base, which increased the monies that they could collect. It's something we have to sit down
But
with yourself and the new individual coming in, the treasurer, and our new town administrator, if that happens, or even with this summer, eventually we gotta have an agreement with somebody to say, they keep on musical chairs,
so,
That-
John,
That's the answer to why I asked for
yeah,
Title One.
I
I think they
appreciate
did a great job doing it and showing it,
Mhm.
the actual
Well done, Bob.
percentage
Yeah.
increase.
It definitely does prove it out, so, thank you.
but we still need to qualify because we've been in a major inflationary period. And basically with no work and no additional sewer, no nothing, at 31 Olympia went from 346 to 633, which is a 91% increase. So anything if you gotta look at the standard, what would be the normal increase, and then, like as I said at the beginning of the discussion, what was the incremental amount over that to deal with this? You can't just say, hey, something was 300,000, now it's $1.3 million, that's $100 million off. It's like, no, the inflationary period is also, you have to look at that period also.
Well, I mean, I think this Olympia is a mistake with.
No, it's a control, it was the control house.
But I've asked them, it does seem extraordinarily out of whack.
I mean,
So
I've
I've asked
worked
them.
with the assessors before.
You think that that's, that number's not
And
right?
it's not uncommon to have a mistake. I mean, I've worked with them before. They can make a mistake, and I've actually went down and talked to them a number of years ago. Yeah, a mistake can happen.
So we've asked them to look at a couple more, because that just does not seem representative.
Okay,
It's 2 houses away from the beach, so
so
it
the,
seems like it could have increased just on that alone.
Yes.
And they might be under assessing
Yeah.
it at the time.
Exactly. So we asked them to look at other ones.
I mean,
that
look, it
were
depends
right
on the
the
location.
beach.
I mean, you gotta look at, real estate's all location.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not bedrooms, it's location.
It's a dead end street, and a nice quiet street that's 2 houses off of the beach. So
But-
I think
yeah.
that it's location probably has something to do with it.
Location.
but the intention wasn't to like value every single property that has gotten built up since the sewer. The intention was to show the trend, to be able to,
That's true.
right, so that's what they did. But they're gonna maybe clean that up a little bit, I guess.
I understand the control,
Yeah,
but I also that.
I think that's wrong anyways,
Under
though.
the, under the control, I mean, no house goes up 239%. I mean, this is a small cape. I actually can look at that one down on Parker, there's probably a small cape.
Yeah, I wonder what that looks like.
Yeah. Oh, it's a McMansion.
Oh, you know that, you know what it
Yeah,
is.
it was assessed for $380,000,
Yeah.
and it's right near the water, it's right
Right.
near the river. It could be on the ocean side. It went from 380 to 1,288,000.
Yeah.
And the people don't complain because they in turn made a McMansion.
Mm.
And they couldn't have done it without the super.
But they only went from, they went from 4 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms.
I don't
Was
think.
it like it was an
Well,
issue?
they have 4 regular sized bedrooms and 4 maximum size
Yeah,
double
but the issue is
bedrooms.
its style of house, its location,
Yeah.
there's an inflationary factor, there's, you know,
Nothing goes
It's a
up
moving
to
target.
39%.
Yeah, it got a lot bigger, obviously.
That's their second point at the end too, is house size.
House size.
house size and
right.
location to the beach.
Yeah.
First house is always more expensive than the second house.
Right. Okay, so, but I think it was successful, I mean, we showed,
It was.
it proved the point, and,
We need a
So,
meeting.
so
we
the,
need-
so
we
the
need
next
a
step
meeting.
on this, Sean, I have a question for you. The next
Yeah.
step, since we have this data, how do you make your argument and codify it that, these improvements have really affected the, since it increased the tax rate, how can we get more funds from the general fund back to the, enterprise funds to actually show the difference?
Well,
I need to make that connection.
you need a connection from small Cape.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, it's like, all through these years, we've been saying, these improvements, because we are on the sewer, have increased the tax base. But the sewer base has not changed at all. So that we're looking for additional funding from the general fund to assist the sewer base.
On an infrastructure repair.
And infrastructure,
We're talking
yeah, right, absolutely.
we're talking about on repairs,
We're on
right?
the same page, we just need to codify
Okay.
what those numbers are.
How much, I mean, we, you know, if I had the, tax, what's the tax rate in, here, 12 something a thousand? 12, 13, what is it?
Good, so we need to write it out, we need to say, this is what the study shows, and this is what the increase in.
Let's say it's 12 something, or whatever it is. You take the pre-improvement of 380,000, see what they paid for taxes. And then do the same thing, and it went up to $1,288,000. See what that increased it.
$9.90.
Okay, so 380,000 at $9,
90 cents. Yep.
call it 10.
Yeah, but you have to take out the inflationary factor too.
Well, so the point is that we're not, that the point of this was not to nickel and dime exactly what the general fund is gonna kick in. The point is to get the general fund to kick in. So if Public Works is footing the entire bill for a major infrastructure thing, the point of this was to then be able to go to the select board or whoever and say, okay, we're showing that the whole town benefits from the sewer, so we're asking for the general fund to kick in 50% of this infrastructure project. That was the point of it, right?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
saying-
So I don't think you need.
Well, not 50%.
Or whatever the.
8%.
I just said that.
Let me make this one
Yeah.
point. On this one property on Parker Street, at 239% increase. Originally, at 380,000, they were paying $3,800 in taxes. They improved the property, and they could improve it on account of sewage. They were paying $3,800. Now they're paying $12,000. Okay?
Mm.
That's what I'm trying to show,
Yes. Mhm.
that's coming into the cost.
Yeah, it's cool, it's,
So you
yeah.
call it 4,000, 12,000, $8,000 on one property went into the town coffers on
Mhm.
account of the sewage.
Mhm.
Right, but what you're missing is there's a factor in there from the inflation that if the house nothing happened with the house, it's still, the taxes would have gone up because of inflationary factors. So, and what I'm saying is you really need to focus on the incremental change because of the sewer. Because the normal would be, say that house was 300, now it's 600, if there was nothing done, but now it's 1,200, it's the $600,000 more to the coffers that they're getting a benefit from.
I mean, these are
Okay, so
small-
we,
These are small capes,
so I'm
Clancy
gonna,
specials.
I wanna make a point about this, Bob.
Go ahead.
That's another forensic audit, we can't even get one done. Okay,
not. This
so
is-
the
that's part of the
point,
study.
what you're saying that would need to happen is another forensic audit,
No,
basically,
not at
of
all.
the tax, it's another, you know.
No, it's
like-
a financial evaluation.
Okay, so it's but you understand my point, right?
Right, but it's a calculation based
Okay.
on inflation.
But the point that John, the reason why we did this was to just have something to then go to
The financial,
town hall and the financial team and whatever and say, look, here's proof that everybody benefits from the sewer expansion. So now we need you to kick in on these projects because the tax levy is benefiting from it. So kick in some money. Like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
and have a conversation and an agreement
We're
that
just-
doesn't need to be based on hire another consultant.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't need to.
Just wanna
yeah.
show the financial
Right.
team that the sewerage has increased the value of the home due to the fact that they made a McMansion and it's gone up, so it's actually more, stress on the sewer because they've added, instead of one bathroom, now they probably have 4 bathrooms. Instead of being a summer cottage, now it's a year-round home. I live in these neighborhoods. I had a business for 35 years, Marshfield Plumbing and Heating. I know all these streets, so it's just to show a trend. It's not exact, it isn't perfect. There's other things that raise the value of the home. And so, it's just something to, it's like a little, it's just a little nugget of information that we can get them to chip in for our infrastructure
Right.
repairs.
Exactly, showing a trend, making the point, and then having a conversation about it. And I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be a conversation that would be beneficial to us, right? So, thank you. All right, can we move on, please?
Go ahead.
All right, so we're on to, I don't even know where we are, jeez. Okay, discussion of indirect charges.
The only thing on the indirect charges is I know it's this time of the year for the indirects to start going for 2027. So I'd like to see if the staff wants to meet with the new town administrator and get the financial team to agree on that Excel spreadsheet that shows more information where the charges are coming from and what percent. Because, and we use the healthcare costs, the pension costs, fuel costs as actual costs instead of an indirect cost. It's an actual cost. And I can explain that. I won't do it now, but I can explain how that works. Doesn't change anything, but it changes a few things. It's kind of double talk, but I know how it works. So we gotta have a meeting with the temporary town administrator to agree to that Excel spreadsheet. That's, I didn't create it. It came out of a warrant, 2010 warrant article.
So I think when we sit down with Meg, hopefully maybe later this week, and then she can show you everything that she's come up with, and then, you guys can discuss it. And I think hopefully you're gonna see that we're hopefully on the same page, and then we can certainly talk to the interim TA as well. But it does seem like I think we'll find him agreeable as well.
And-
Good.
Let's meet with Meg first so you can see where she's at. She's shown us a lot, but it's definitely time for you to look at it.
Is she using the total town budget for the percentages?
She's using the total town budget.
So, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to, whatever time,
Yeah.
my time is kind of free. Not that free, I mean, but, I can, whatever fits
Yep.
Yeah,
my
we'll set it
schedule,
up. Perfect.
Yep.
I probably can meet.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
If you guys meet before the next meeting, can we get an update on that?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
yeah, positively. Yeah. Okay,
That'll be good.
Thank you, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, anything on that? Mr. Shaughnessy?
No.
Okay,
Wow.
all right, so we're gonna, end the discussion and action items of this meeting and vote to accept the minutes.
I read the minutes.
I read the minutes.
I'm all set.
Okay, so,
Question?
yeah, question?
Yeah, on the minutes.
You have a question?
Yep.
What is,
Item number one, when we had discussion on the ADU policy, we had discussion that the board would agree to have a policy drafted so that we could make it at the next meeting. This is the next meeting, we don't have it. Well, I would like to have a discussion on that. I would like to have staff give me a call. I have comments on what we should go in on the policy that we can draft out for a future meeting. So I'm asking staff to give me a call so we can have a discussion.
I'll give you a call.
okay, and then we'll talk about
Yeah,
it?
right.
Okay,
There's a lot of case law.
all right. Yeah, maybe, we might wanna have Attorney Galvin comment on whatever you
Good.
guys come up with. I think that's important.
Well, yeah, the thing is, it would be a draft policy
Right,
that we get input
Yeah.
from the board members and town council.
Right.
But we should put something in writing of what we, so that we can move forward. That way, I look at this as the elephant in the room. If we don't address it, we're in trouble.
okay,
It's already
all
been-
right, okay,
Right.
great. So, motion to accept the minutes.
All right.
Check.
Okay, aye. All right, superintendent's report.
Okay, so I have a few updates for you. We're working on closing out the Grant Rock Phase 1 improvement project, and we'll do that through a negative change order, which basically means that we didn't spend the full contracted amount. So, we can bring that to you on the first, when we meet on that one.
Okay,
We did meet with the new interim town administrator, Charlie Sumner, and with the procurement consultant that we have, Rebecca, to just go over in general what the plan is, which is that they're developing kind of standard contract language, standard forms, so that we can hopefully streamline procurement, because we've had different people in, there's been a lot of questions and consistency issues, so we're gonna get these templates, which are gonna really make it much better for us, so we're really looking forward to that. That should be quite helpful. Things coming up, we have capital requests for the spring town meeting, which are due on the 21st. So we're putting them together. We can give you an update on the next meeting as to what those are. I know we're just trying to, they gave us the schedule, it's gotta be done by the 21st, so we can,
of November.
of November, yes.
God, that seems so fast.
It's actually in our, it's in our charter that it's,
Yeah.
it's like the
It's always the
third week.
third.
I know, but it just seems,
I know.
I mean, I'm happy that we're talking about
No,
anything
it's-
Yeah,
in the
it's good.
spring, but,
It's good to
Yeah.
get ahead of it.
okay,
So that's coming up. We submitted permits for the Ocean Bluff revetment area. So we have 3 permits there, a Chapter 91 permit, a 401 water quality permit, and an Army Corps permit. So we're seeking to get those permits. That'll be one of the capital requests we make, because we have some seawall money, but I don't think we have enough to do the job. We have some cost estimates. So that'll be one of our requests there. I don't know if anybody's driven by the town hall, but go check out the town hall. We assisted the veterans and put up flags and bunting on the town hall. Looks really nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, looks really nice. So take a look
thank
at
you.
that. We've been working at the landfill on the compost. Last year in the springtime, DEP said we had too much compost, so we've been going through and cleaning all that up. It looks a lot different. We've actually gotten rid of a lot of the stuff. We've had contractors coming in and taking it, so it's much, much better than it was. So that looks really, really good. And I
Do we get any value for it?
at this point, we just want to get rid of it. The value is getting rid of it and creating more space so we can have
Make
neater
more.
operations. So we can make more in time for the fall. Yeah, absolutely.
Start, ask the question, that's all.
Yep. And that's all I had for now.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Is it all right to ask a question?
Yeah,
Grant Rock, the 7 streetlights.
Yes.
Is there any luck with that, anything?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Is on the list though? There's
Yes, absolutely.
Possible something might happen.
Yep.
Okay,
We're gonna talk about that at the next meeting.
okay. All right, appreciate it, thank you. That's all for me.
that's it.
Thank you, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
And, motion to, adjourn this meeting.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.